Welcome to Salsido Paranormal. I'm your host, James Salsido, and tonight I am talking about haunted places in the U.S. As always, you can find all episodes of the show along with links to social media, ways to listen, and ways to support the show at the website, and that is salsidoparanormal.com. That's SALSIDO paranormal.com. There are many ways to support the show, and support is never expected, but always appreciated, as there are expenses in making the show. You can support the show through Patreon for as little as $1 a month and get all the extra content there. You can also, I forgot to say, you can share the show with others and rate and review it on your favorite podcast platforms. You can also check out the merchandise store and you get all kinds of shirts and some other items there made by, well, with the designs, if I could talk tonight, made by friends of the show. Also, please follow Jen, the Arcane Observer, who has her own channel and is the co-host of this show on Saturdays when she's able to make it. And Ricky of the Anything Is Possible podcast. He does few shows a week, and I join him on Sunday nights for his shows then. And then Michael Strange, host of Trouble Minds Radio and the Trouble Minds Radio Network, KUAP Digital Broadcasting, where you can hear all kinds of amazing shows, as well as my own, online 24/7 for free. So that takes care of all the usual introduction material there. A couple of things, like I always like to say with these haunted places shows, um, how it works is I do a search online and get a summary of a location along with a couple of links. And so I put the links to articles in the episode description so you can read them yourselves and check out the images and maybe do more research if you want to. And keep in mind whenever I read these summaries, if you're thinking of visiting a location, make sure it's okay to do that and find out how and when and all that, because I do not recommend trespassing for all kinds of reasons. And I think that takes care of everything, unless I'm forgetting something, and I guess I'll remember it later if I am. I'm a little bit distracted because I just got a new headset, so I'm getting used to the way it feels and everything, and all that. But it seems to be working so far, so really grateful for that. And that takes care of everything. So let me get to the material here. Again, uh, every location will have at least two links in the episode description. You can check out for more information. So, and just keep in mind that information may change over time, and so what I have found here may go out of date or be incorrect later on or proven incorrect. All these little things. These summaries are based on static articles, so just keep that in mind. But now we are in the middle of Massachusetts. My short list of locations in Massachusetts. There's a handful of locations here that are in Salem, Massachusetts, and that is associated, of course, with the Salem witch trials. So I do not know a ton about that subject, except that there was a horrible series of events. So just keep that in mind as I go over these summaries here, and I apologize if there's any mistakes I make, and you all are always welcome to let me know about those through comments or through email, salsidoparanormal@gmail.com, and I will make corrections as needed. So this next location here is the Joshua Ward House in Salem, and in Massachusetts. This is a historic federal-style brick home built in 1784 on the site of the former residence of Sheriff George Corwin, infamous for his role in the Salem witch trials. Noted Salem builder Samuel McIntyre designed the house's interior, including its original staircase, which remains one of his oldest surviving works. The house's reputation is further distinguished by George Washington's reported request to stay there during his 1789 visit to Salem. The haunting of the Joshua Ward House centers on its connection to the Salem witch trials, particularly Sheriff George Corwin. Corwin was notorious for his brutal tactics against accused witches, including torture and strangulation, earning him the nickname the Strangler. Modern reports describe visitors experiencing the sensation of being choked or touched by cold hands, echoing Corwin's methods. Other reported phenomena include sudden scratches, that's never good, unexplained burns, so there's a lot of negative stuff here, and sightings of ghostly apparitions, which that's probably the best possible outcome there. One widely circulated Polaroid photo is said to capture the image of a woman dressed in black with wild hair, attributed to one of Corwin's alleged victims. Many claim to hear wailing and crying, especially at night. Paranormal accounts frequently cite three distinct spirits. Sheriff George Corwin, whose body was reportedly buried at in the basement by his family to prevent desecration. Giles Corey, who was pressed to death, or Corey, sorry, not Corwin, yeah, Corey, who was pressed to death under Corwin's supervision during the trials, with his ghost blamed for poltergeist activity like knocking items off shelves. An unarmed woman, possibly a victim of Corwin, connected to the apparition and cries described above. So that's that location. Again, I do think it's not always the case, but trauma often does lead to paranormal activity, and seems like that whole area does have a lot of that to that could cause that. This next location is the Witch House, formerly known as the Jonathan Corwin House in Salem. And this is the only standing structure in Salem directly tied to the infamous 1692 witch trials. Judge Jonathan Corwin, who bought and completed the house in 1675, lived there and conducted pretrial examinations of the accused within its walls. History. The land and partially built house were originally owned by Captain Nathaniel Davenport, but Jonathan Corwin purchased and finished it in 1675, featuring characteristic 17th century architecture like steep gables and a broad central chimney. In 1692, as a prominent magistrate, Corwin joined the court of Oyer. I'm probably saying that wrong, I apologize. And Terminer, replacing Judge Nathaniel Saltonstall and helping send 19 people to the gallows during the hysteria. Some preliminary interrogations of accused witches took place in this house, making it central to the witch trial's dark history. The house remained in the Corwin family until the 19th century and underwent significant renovations, including the addition of a gambrel roof and annexes, becoming known as the Witch House by the mid-1800s when it began to attract tourists curious about its Salem witch trials connection. Hauntings. The witch house is reputedly haunted, with frequent reports of strange voices, sensations of being watched, and feelings of unease among visitors and staff. Some believe the atmosphere is influenced by the trauma and intense emotions surrounding the witch trials, while others attribute lingering phenomena to the spirits of those implicated in the trials or to the house's long, sometimes tragic history. Paranormal occurrences reported include disembodied whispers or voices, shadows or cold spots without explanation, visitors experiencing an unexplained sense of dread or sorrow, sometimes following them after leaving the tour. The hauntings are thought to be manifestations of the historical injustices judged within its walls, as well as possible residual energy from uh, centuries of notoriety and suffering. And so that's an important thing. You don't just have possibly the energy of the original events. I think it's an important thing to point out there. You have everyone else who has gone through the property thinking about these events and possibly um, uh, sympathizing or empathizing with whoever might or might not have been there after, and all that emotional energy building up in a location over time. Next location here is the House of the Seven Gables. I've heard of this one more so than I think any of the others so far. And this is in Salem, Massachusetts. It is a historic colonial mansion built in 1668 by Captain John Turner, later owned by the Ingersoll family, and famously associated with Nathaniel Hawthorne's 1851 novel. Over centuries, it has gained a reputation as one of Salem's most haunted sites, with reported apparitions, mysterious phenomena, and deep ties to the legacy of the Salem witch trials. Historical background. Built in 1668 for Captain John Turner, a prosperous sea captain and merchant, the mansion remained in the Turner family for 3 generations before being sold to Captain Samuel Ingersoll, I'm not sure, in 1782. Ingersoll's daughter, uh, Susanna, was a cousin of Nathaniel Hawthorne, who frequently visited and drew inspiration for his novel, The House of the Seven Gables, published in 1851. Renovations over the years have preserved many original period features spanning 4 centuries, making it one of the oldest timber-framed mansions in North America. In 1908, Caroline Emerton purchased the house, restored it, and opened it as a museum, using proceeds to fund settlement programs for immigrants in Salem. Reported hauntings and paranormal activity. The house is considered one of Salem's most haunted, with stories linked to the Salem witch trials and the tragedies of its former owners. Commonly reported phenomena include apparitions of a little boy, often seen playing near the attic or gables. The spirit of Susanna Ingersoll, who some claim still roams her home. Unexplained shadows, lights flickering on and off, and faucets turning on by themselves. Feelings of an unseen presence experienced by staff and visitors. A psychic once reported photographing the boy's ghost and secret rooms and staircases built for refuge during witchcraft accusations add to the house's mysterious aura. The House of the Seven Gables remains an iconic landmark, blending New England history, literary fame, and reputed paranormal phenomena. Its stories reflect both documented past and enduring local legends, with ongoing tours and programs exploring both its architecture and ghostly heritage. So that's the end of that location here. And hello, Mike. I see you there. And look at the chat here and get everything out. Hello, Quantum Alchemist as well. And thank you all for being here. And I am using my new headset, so glad to be back on a headset again. And yeah, glad to see everyone here as well. So let's see here. We can get at least one more location finished here. This next one is Old Burying Point Cemetery. Excuse me, in Salem, Massachusetts. And this is also known as the Charter Street Cemetery, and is one of the oldest burial grounds in the United States, and the oldest maintained cemetery in Salem, Massachusetts. Established in 1637, it holds immense historical and supernatural significance connected to the Salem witch trials and Puritan colonial history. Historical background. The cemetery's earliest reference appears in town records from 1637, when land along Charter Street was officially designated as a burial site due to earlier epidemics in the Salem settlement. It was recognized in 1975 as part of the Charter Street Historic District and added to the National Register of Historic Places. Among its nearly 500 headstones, notable burials include several prominent figures tied to early colonial society and the Salem witch trials. And it lists some here. Judge John Hawthorne and Judge Bartholomew Gedney, both presided over the 1692 trials. Richard Moore, a Mayflower passenger. Chief Justice Benjamin Lind presided over the Boston Massacre trial. Architect Samuel McIntyre and merchant Elias Heskett Derby, prominent 18th century Salem citizens, Nathaniel Mather, brother of preacher Cotton Mather. That's the end of that list there. Paranormal accounts. The cemetery is widely considered one of the most haunted sites in Salem. Its proximity to the witch trials memorial and connection to those historically persecuted have given rise to many ghost reports spanning nearly 4 centuries. Common recounted spirits include Judge John Hathorne, said to wander the grounds, cursed to atone for his role in condemning the innocent during the trials. Many claim his apparition appears near his headstone or near the witch trials memorial. Giles Corey, the farmer pressed to death for refusing to plead in 1692, is believed to appear before times of disaster in Salem. His ghostly figure has reportedly been seen among the graves or near the site of his execution, considered an omen of misfortune. The lady in the blue dress, described as a woman in a powdered blue gown carrying a picnic basket, often accompanied by a small boy in a black shirt and hat. Their identities remain unknown, though tales link them to an old fire that once devastated part of Charter Street. Witnesses have also reported cold drafts, electronic malfunctions, that's always fascinating, glowing mists, and muffled voices among the cemetery's winding rows of slate gravestones, leading many paranormal investigators to rank it among the most active sites in New England. So, just looking ahead here, and just to see how many more. So it does look like there's a few more of these locations in and around Salem, but there's other places in other parts of the state as well. So it won't be purely a Salem focused list here of locations in Massachusetts, but there are a handful more, I believe, here. So, and we'll get to those another time. Obviously, we're almost out of time for this episode, but I do recommend everyone check out uh, history. There's podcasts, there's books, there's all kinds of things now on the whole subject of the Salem witch trials, and I thought about doing a show on that, but again, it's sort of, first of all, it's so dark and sad, and second of all, yeah, I think there's been enough done on it as far as in a more comprehensive way than I can do. And I recommend y'all checking all that kind of content out. So that's all the time we have for this episode. Thank you all for listening, and I will talk to y'all next time on Salsido Paranormal. Take care.